March 2020. The military trucks in Bergamo carrying the disease. The isolation amongst the elderly, the loss of business and the resultant loss of jobs. And then this. Finally, business is back, people can travel, and we seem to be on the back end of the pandemic. Fuck you, COVID. It's time to get back out.
Hey guys, I'm Mike. I live in Malta and this is K44. Follow me and join in on the fun on my Facebook, Instagram and YouTube channels as I share my passion for four-wheel drive vehicles and for experiencing outdoor life, in particular through overland travel, green laning and camping. See you on the trail.
"2:47, guys. Who the hell sets the ferry schedules? Yes, I know. It's really early, Nino. Don't know what's going on. Anyhow, it's time to go now. Good morning, Ian.
Bonjour.
Bonjour.
Good morning.
Affectionately known as Chili.
That's the
Our first
the morning,
recruit. Bright-eyed and bushy-tailed.
Okay.
Okay.
Off we go.
Bonjour, guys.
Bonjour.
So here we are, our post-COVID first trip. I'm going to introduce you to who is on this trip.
Okay.
Yeah.
I did already.
Alright. Hi again.
Talkative one.
Hi again.
Morning,
You have a name?
Gerald.
Ben.
Alright. Very jovial, as you can see. Gets better. Catch you later.
It is 4 in the morning, you know.
Following a prolonged period of non-travel, it certainly felt good to disembark in Sicily. After our customary photo on arrival in Pozzallo port, handheld radios were synced and we hit the autostrada. All seems to work better up north. Not sure if it's the better fuel, colder air or longer stretches, but both TD5s were now pulling nicely. After an hour, it was time for an espresso and to notice just how much additional gear we needed to carry for a camping trip.
So apparently Gerald is well known for traveling light.
Yes, absolutely. We need any space for anything.
In fairness, he has 50% more
Careful.
passengers
Yes.
than the 90.
Please, come with me. You can see it goes all the way.
This is dangerous. Huh? There's an ambulance in the background.
Following the 3-hour drive from Pozzallo to Mistretta, we were glad to be off the beaten track. Our local contact in Mistretta showed us a dirt road which from the centre of town took us across the plains and exiting right across from the beginning of our trail. It was good to be back in the Nebrodi National Park. We've driven the Dorsale several times before, but this time felt different and we were driving faster. Reason being that the entire track was given a layer of gravel which made the entire track smoother. With decent progress being made in the early afternoon, we then stopped for a quick snack.
So here we are. First day, first stop for lunch break from this plateau. Let's see what we're gonna have for a snack. Che si mangia?
Aw, titħollok
Bread,
l-impod.
butter, Philadelphia, and
Sisħana, xogħol
whatever you want.
l-impod.
We then continued deeper in the forest and decided to find our first location for setting up camp.
And here we have Gerald opening his new tent in the moment of truth. And here we have the first time opened rooftop tent. Ta-da!
That's the first time I think.
In the penthouse.
Extreme level of preparation in atma ftaħtaqux. Here we are. There is Gerald on the ladder,
I cannot see his face.
finding, looking at his new tent.
Finding the pole, his pole.
Okay.
The pole and the hole.
All right.
You're all right.
You know?
Yo.
Yeah. No, so far, okay. I'm just trying to figure it out.
Of course, as one does.
TikTok.
You're okay up there, Jay?
It has gone up.
All right, very nice.
With the tents all pitched, all, or most of us, started to prepare dinner.
Okay, chef, you want to explain what's going on?
Well, we're putting the pecorino on the egg. We just put a ladle of warm hot water to melt the cheese, grated cheese.
Okay, and over here, what do we have?
Guanciale is ready.
Guanciale, all right?
The guanciale is ready for the pasta. So now we can eat in approximately a minute or two. Mela,
Okay,
pasta.
pasta
Ladle of hot water.
and guanciale.
Sekda.
Live from Nebrodi. Dinner time. All hands on deck, except for me, for a change.
And just before we switched off for the night, we received a surprise nocturnal visit from a family of horses. Another reminder how amazing it is to camp in the wild.
Day 2. Buongiorno ragazzi. Good morning, guys. It's a lovely day in Nebrodi Park. And here we have our cooks back on the morning shift.
Breakfast time.
Breakfast time. So what's going on, guys?
Scrambled eggs,
Mm-hmm.
bacon, sausages, and some toast.
Excellent.
Mandatory coffee and tea.
Lovely. So what's the plan today, Dej?
We're hoping to break camp in, what shall we say, an hour and a half or thereabouts.
Uh-huh.
Yes, you know, they probably have mindset there. Our equipment will dry up from all the dew and rain.
Dew and rain, yes?
Then head down along this route to Portella Femina Morta, whereby we exit from Portella Stella Marina. Then
Okay.
train into Portella Femina Morta. We'll head down to the lakes, Lago Viviere and Maunazzo.
Yep.
I think by then we'll probably stop for some form of coffee break and then continue on towards Floresta and hopefully find a nice camping site
For the second night.
for the second night.
Excellent. Amazing. Sounds like a plan, guys. Let's do it.
After breakfast, we hit the trail again for a couple of hours and headed towards Lago Maulazzo, where we stopped for a coffee and some downtime by the lake.
Okay, now we're at Lago Maulazzo. We came for some nice peace and quiet, and instead we found, ta-da! Families, screaming babies, hikers, the works. But anyway, having a nice cup of coffee. Okay, from Lago Maulazzo we're gonna continue towards Floresta. It's the second day of our 4-day trip.
After leaving the lake, in the afternoon we headed eastwards towards Floresta, and again managed to be ahead of schedule due to the resurfacing of the main trail, even on this side of the Dorsale. Despite the forest in October being mostly dry after a long hot summer, for those who want, there will always be some off-road fun to be had en route. You just need to look for the interesting sections on the sides of the main track. On the way to Floresta, taking a right before the final stretch takes you down to Lago Trearia. The part by the lake was inaccessible, so we had to turn round, but the route had some deep ruts to tackle, so was still worth the detour. It was soon getting dark, so we decided to find a suitable clearing to set up camp for the second night. After the tents were pitched, evening was quickly upon us, and the boys were back on the night shift cooking up some dinner.
Hungarian goulash. 800 grams of pure beef, potatoes, carrots, onions, garlic, paprika, broth, and tomatoes. Cooked for an hour and a half in the open. In Nebrodi! And of course, some Sicilian bread. The idea was actually my navigators.
Okay.
Cook anything, really, muscle.
Okay. But you conceptually came up with the idea. Okay. Alright. Time to eat then.
The weather turned wild in the early morning, and amidst flapping tents and detached tarps, we woke up in the pelting rain and gale force winds, all part of the adventure. Things were looking bleak this morning. Even the locals seemed more hostile than usual. Just as we packed up to head towards supposedly greener pastures, the crew of course found ample time for one last cuppa and some banter, usually at your truly's expense.
And here we have Mr. K44 showing us how it's done. Thank you.
After completing our last leg on the dorsale, we then headed into Floresta for a quick espresso, and the rain just didn't want to stop. It seemed we had camped exactly before the storm hit home. We then headed to Randazzo, where we had opted to treat ourselves to some proper accommodation, a proper warm shower, and a great dinner to wrap up our 2021 off-road trip. One thing's for sure, after a couple of nights in a tent, every other structure by comparison seems so much more inviting. On the fourth day, after a good night's sleep, and with our batteries recharged, we opted to head up to Etna for lunch. And it rained, and it rained, and it rained. So we started the drive back south on the autostrada. Needless to say, then the sun came back out. Back at the port, it was big smiles all around. Another amazing trip was done and dusted. A great couple of days hanging out with the lads, green laning and camping in the beautiful Sicilian countryside. We cannot wait to get back out here. Happy trails!